you guys. So good to see you again. I have another Beehive book to read, and it's called A Cooked Up Fairy Tale by Penny Parker Klosterman. This is the last children's picture book category for Beehive books that we didn't get to read this year, and I want to make sure that we read it. I even had a few students ask me for this book, so I'm so sorry I left it to the end of the year, but I'll read it today, and then if I see you around, even this summer, you can tell me if you liked it. Let's start. Okay, it's A Cooked Up Fairy Tale. These pages are sticky. Okay. Although William lived in the magical land of fairy tales, he preferred pastries to princesses, kitchens to kingdoms, and recipes to the royal reporter. William dreamed of being a chef known throughout the land. Whether sautéed, sifted, basted, or baked, pureed, poached, filleted, or flaked, William's dishes were perfect. But cooking happily ever after was a different story. He tried working at the brick house, but the menu was too dangerous. Pot of wolf stew. Bring water to a boil. Stir in 3 cups peas, 3 cups carrots, 3 cups potatoes, and 1 big bad wolf. That doesn't sound good. Too cold, says the bear. Too hot, says this bear. He'd serve up porridge at the Three Bears Bistro, but folks there were very persnickety. And he baked for the gingerbread on the go. That hadn't ended well either. William decided he'd better cook from home, but his pantry was almost bare, so he emptied the last few coins from his cookie jar and headed to the market. There he is. "What's this?" asked William. "Fairy tale food? It must be splendid." But it was only raw apples, beans, and a pumpkin. "This isn't splendid," said William. "Clearly, Fairy Tale Headquarters needs a good chef to spice things up before the bedtime delivery." So he sliced and he diced, chopped and topped, stirred and whirred. Then he packed up his delectable creations and followed the signs to Fairy Tale Headquarters. What is going to happen? "Judy, I need the apples," says the witch. "And I need the beans," says Jack. "The pumpkin, Judy, the pumpkin." "Where can that delivery boy be?" asked Judy. In a stew?" "I believe I can help," says William. "May I present baked apples with caramel drizzle, bean soup with smoked ham, and pumpkin pie with cream and candied pecans?" Those sound good. "Who? What? Why?" stammered Judy. "I need shiny apples and raw beans and a whole pumpkin. Don't you know anything about fairy tales?" "I'm sorry," said William. "I read cookbooks, not fairy tales. But maybe I could—" You've cooked up enough trouble," said Judy. "It's bedtime and the tales must begin. Now leave and take the book of fairy tales with you." William plopped down outside the kingdom wall and opened the book. "Poisoned apple, beanstalk, pumpkin coach. Oh my," said William. "Fairy tales really do have their own ingredients." He rushed back to find Judy. "Did I spoil the apple story?" he blurted out. "Snow White. Actually, she loved your baked apples and ate every one. She was so stuffed that she fell into a deep sleep. Of course, this caused a stir with those 7 dwarfs. And then there was a passing prince and a kiss. So happily ever after. Thank goodness, said William. And the bean story? Jack and the Beanstalk? The giant said something like, "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell soup, and I want some." Jack was in a pickle, but he drove a hard bargain and traded the pot of soup for the giant's castle in the clouds. Another happily ever after. Such a relief, said William. What about the pumpkin tale? Cinderella? It's still unfolding. We'll find out together. Oh no, said William. This is a recipe for disaster. Then slip, flip, and whack, smack. That's not going at all like the fairy tale, is it? Scrumptious, said the prince. Simply delicious. He took another bite and said, I vow to search all the land until I find the baker of this pie. Cinderella slumped in her puddle of pumpkin. This isn't happily ever after, sighed Judy. Happily ever after, murmured William. He strode right into the fairy tale. Your Highness, I baked the pie, and I will bake you pies ever after. But may I suggest you can have your pie and your princess too? The prince gazed at Cinderella. You're a feast for my eyes, he said. Would you care to dance? My, said Judy. It looks like you've cooked up another happy ending. And from that night forward, the prince and his princess ate like kings and queens, and William cooked happily ever after. They all get a big banquet. And that is a cooked up fairy tale. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.